sense. Let's look at the book of Habakkuk. Brethren, let us open to the book of Habakkuk. We want to look at what this prophet Habakkuk said. And we want to title it The Burden of Habakkuk. And we want to look at it as apostasy, which Habakkuk saw. Apostasy of Israel, which Habakkuk saw. That apostasy is what he called burden. Verse 1 is what he called burden. And if you look at the book of Habakkuk clearly, it has 3 chapters. And we are told that the book of Habakkuk is book of vision. Yahweh called him and showed him a vision. And in that vision, it was Habakkuk looking at Israel and there seeing Yahweh afar away from his people. So 3 parties, Habakkuk, Judah, or Israel. In this context, we zero it into the totality of Israel because this book is talking to us today. We are Israelites. And also Yahweh, who was there watching and made himself, covered himself as if he wasn't there. Now, what did he see? What the prophet Habakkuk saw was beyond him. Now, what he saw raised the first query he posed to Yahweh. And he called the attention of Yahweh, prompting Yahweh to answer him on that query. So verses 1 to 4 was what he saw about Israel, and he raised a query out of that. And from verse 5 to verse 11, Yahweh answered him. Yahweh answered him clearly what he saw, what it was, because ever before Habakkuk saw what he saw, Yahweh saw. In fact, it was Yahweh that even prompted Habakkuk to go and see what was happening in Israel. So he saw it, and he was shocked. He passed the information by way of question to Yahweh and wanted Yahweh to respond. And Yahweh responded. Hey, Habakkuk said, Yahweh, what is that? What is your answer? Your answer is bringing more trouble. Your answer has positioned Israel to annihilation. Israel will perish. And Habakkuk asked second question. From the response of Yahweh, said, oh, thus far, Yahweh, you have responded this way, to destroy your people, to send the people from the north, to send Babylonians to Judah. Oh, Babylonians are treacherous. Babylonians are wicked. I was thinking Israelites are wicked. I was thinking Israelites are no-go area in terms of, the way of Yahweh, doing the righteous things. They are not. I beckon whether you were seen so that you can, make amends, put things in order, sanitize the situation, bring harmony, bring law back to the land because the law had disappeared. You didn't do that. Yahweh, how are you saying you are going to multiply the sins of Israel? Have you looked at these people? Babylonians, the young lions, because they also young lions. They had dealt with Assyria. They had dealt with Egypt. How is it that you are coming in again to destroy your own people who are righteous, more righteous? Look at Habakkuk. There was now mellowing down what he saw. Law had broken down. There had been violence, iniquity everywhere. There's trouble in the land. That is the burden he saw. There is violence everywhere. There is strife. There is contention. The law is powerless. Torah is powerless. Torah is gone. This is what he saw. Justice has been rendered useless and hopeless. No hope for justice. No hope for anybody getting justice in the land. As a result, wickedness surrounds the righteous one, even the remnants. The remnants are crying. There is perversion of judgment which proceeds in all the courts, all everywhere in the land. That was what he saw. That was the burden. That was the apostasy that was going on in the land. Yahweh responded and answered, let's look at verse 5. Chapter 1, Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5. Look among the nations and watch. Yahweh drew the attention of Habakkuk. Watch all the nations, but utterly astonished, for I will work a work in your days, which you would not believe, though it were told you. Habakkuk, what you are seeing is a child's play. These people thought they know how to play iniquity. They know how to produce violence. They know how to create trouble. They know how to be lawless. I ask them to be lawful. I ask them to live a lawful life. Follow Torah, follow instruction, follow the precept, follow the commandments, follow the statutes of Yahweh. Yet they've abandoned it and they introduce the lawlessness of Satan in the land. As a result, I'm going to tear them. I'm going to use young lion from the north. I'm going to use Babylon. Babylon do not know abeg. The Babylon do not know sorry. Babylon do not know, wait a minute, let me adjust myself. Babylon does not understand that language. I'm going to use them to destroy them, to hammer them. They will perish. In fact, they will lose their land. It was the position of Yahweh to Habakkuk. Let us hear Yahweh continuing. Verse 6. For indeed, I am raising up the Chaldeans. This is Babylonians, a bitter and hasty nation which marches through the breadth of the earth to possess dwelling places that are not theirs. Babylon tried to possess the land of others, to possess what belongs to them, to possess their, in fact, to take them into exile, to take them away from their land and occupy their land. They are specialists in it. Verse 7. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity proceed from themselves. Their horses also are swifter than leopards and more fierce than evening wolves. Their chargers charge ahead. Their cavalry comes from afar. They fly as the eagle that hastens to eat. They have everything, every equipment to manufacture modern, tools of warfare. They have science. They have technology. That eagle that hastens to eat, that flies swiftly, talking about war aircraft. We are looking at, because this is beyond what happened in the days of Habakkuk, beyond what happened in the days of fathers. It's talking even about today. They have developed flying eagles, war machines. They all come for violence. Their faces are set like the east wind. They gather captives like sand. When they come, they grab the entire human beings in the land and hold them captive, hold them hostage, make them slaves, exile them to their lands, scatter them all over the world. They are specialists in it. They scoff at kings, and the princes are scorned by them. They deride every stronghold, for they heap up earthen mounds and seize it. Then, this is what Yahweh found against Babylon. They are so strong, they are mighty, they are powerful, they are excellent in wickedness and everything. They are expert in wickedness. They are expert in doing what, may cause pain even in the heart of Yahweh. Now, Yahweh says, even at the end, after they have come and bruise and brutalize and destroy his people and cause the remnant to be taken captive, Yahweh said he's not going to spare them because they have done something that he doesn't like. Otherwise, Babylon would have replaced Israel. Babylon would have taken over. The Gentile nation, the Gentile world would have taken over. Yahweh would have disowned Israel if the Gentile world, Babylon, and all the rest of the nations, if they were to keep the word of Yahweh, but they were nowhere to be found. And that was the area Habakkuk was pointing to Yahweh. He said, these people are very wicked. Are they going to replace their people who are in the context of their position? Are they going to replace their people who are excellent? Was he calling them excellent people? When he saw that they were going with violence, iniquity, trouble, strife, contention, lawlessness, and so on and so forth. But he's saying that Babylonians are more wicked than wicked. But verse 11 there, read it, said, then his mind changes, the mind of Babylon, the mind of Nebuchadnezzar, now as they were trying to punish Israel, punish Judah, take them into exile, show wickedness against them. Something happened. Yahweh saw in them and said, then his mind, the mind of Babylon changes and he transgresses. He breaks the law with impunity. Because Yahweh had pointed out that the power to do wickedness comes from them, including rebellion, including breaking his law. He commits offense, ascribing this power to his God, to his El, to his Elohim, to his, whatever that he worship, wood and stone. You will hear where he's going to mention wood and stone. Now, this is what Yahweh said, yeah, my judgment is correct. My judgment is all right. Israel will face it. They merit it. But then there is something that is also going on with Babylon. Babylon are no, saints. They are going to pay the price as well. Brethren, those that destroy the children of Israel, they are in trouble. We read yesterday in the book of Jeremiah chapter 2. It said Israel was my polished children. Israel were the first fruits. Israel were the best. Israel were the most wonderful, nation in the world. Of all the nations of the world, I picked them. I took them because I saw something in them. They were obedient. They were innocent. They were humble. They were following me and they loved me. I so much loved them. You see, there is something that is going on with the children of Israel. They are carriers of the seed of the seed that is found in Yeshua is in Israel. It may be in small number, but Yahweh at long run, after everything, Yahweh will still come back to pick them, that remnant, and bring them back to the land. And he will grow them. He will allow them to increase, expand, and take over. And they will reach out to the whole world and educate them and bring them to the knowledge of Yahweh. As the water covers the sea, so the knowledge and the wisdom and the righteousness of Yahweh will cover the whole earth, and the earth will be reclaimed. Those that says no, Yahweh will use fire to wipe them and the earth, and the new earth and the new heaven will be inhabited by this seed, this correct, righteous, glorious, the seed of Yahweh. They will now inhabit the earth forever and ever. Hallelujah. So that's what Yahweh is working out. Yahweh doesn't want to find iniquity. And that is why he said, whatever you do, be careful. Follow me. Follow my instruction. Now he went on. Yahweh has pointed out in verse 11. Because Babylonians will not be spared. Yahweh will deal with them at the end of the day after they would have dealt with children of Israel. That was what Yahweh wanted to teach Habakkuk, so that it will comfort him from the query he posed. But Habakkuk wasn't contented. Habakkuk raised an alarm. Yahweh, oh, this is justice. This could be looked as injustice. But you are Yahweh that can never tolerate injustice. You are Yahweh that is everlastingly righteous, holy. Yahweh that can never, no lawlessness, no iniquity, no evil will pass through your eyes. Why would you call these people who are loaded? They are burdened with sin to come and carry away your children. Do you remember that they are first fruits? Do you remember that they are holy people you call to yourself? Do you remember that they bear your name? Now look at him again. Habakkuk wants to pose a question, but by recalling certain things. Verse 12. Are you, he's talking to Yahweh, are you not from everlasting, oh Yahweh, my Father, my Holy One, we shall not die? Amen. First and foremost, he told him, from all you have pronounced, Yahweh, I understand your pains. Israel has walked away. They have sinned. They have done wicked. But is their wickedness far greater than the wickedness of Babylon? That you want to use Babylon to judge them. So, Yahweh, of all that you are doing, of all you are saying, Israel, that name will not die. Defend and protect that name. Oh Yahweh, you have appointed them for judgment. Oh Rock, you have marked them for correction. You are of purer hearts than to behold the evil, and cannot look on wickedness. Why do you look on those who deal treacherously, and hold your tongue when the wicked devours a person more righteous than he? Those who want to devour your children, they are wicked, they are evil. Israelites are more righteous than them. Why would you use them to kill your people? Habakkuk is still asking Yahweh, why do you make men like fish of the sea? Soon Yahweh was saying Israel is going to be fish. They're going to be dragged out by net through the hand of Babylon. Babylon is going to fish them out and draw them out from their land, and they're going to sweep them away. Like creeping things that have no ruler over them. They take up all of them with a hook. They catch them in their net and gather them in their dragnet. Therefore, they rejoice and are glad. Now, look at that verse 11 there. That is where Habakkuk is going. Habakkuk is trying to point to Yahweh that these people, they will use dragnet to drag your people, and they will turn to that dragnet and bow to the dragnet. What is he saying? They are going to come in the name of Baal, Elohim, which they worship, and they are going to bow. They are going to bow to it, and they're saying it is that Baal, that wood and stone, that dragnet is what gave them power. That is the Babylon power to achieve, to conquer, to destroy Israel. The credit will not go to you. The credit will go to wood and stone. It was a wonderful argument. Yahweh allowed Habakkuk to pour out his argument. And it was, but Yahweh wanted him to do so, to pour his heart. And Yahweh was watching him. Therefore, they sacrificed to their nets and burn incense to their dragnet, because by them their share is sumptuous and their food plentiful. Shall they therefore empty their nets and continue to slay nations without pity? Will they continue to use their dragnet, wood and stone, Baalim, whatever they were worshipping, to continue to boast, to continue to say they conquered the entire world? Abba Father. You called Israel. Is it for nothing? It's to bear your name. It's to bear your righteousness. It's to follow your holy way. It's to do, in fact, people will see Israel like as they see you, because they will bear your character. Why not spare them? Why not do away with Babylon? Yahweh will answer again. Now, Habakkuk, having put all these queries, he said, now I will wait and watch and see what Yahweh, how Yahweh will answer me. I will stand by chapter 2. I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart and watch to see what he will say to me and what I will answer when I am corrected. Now he is waiting for Yahweh to respond. Verse 2, Yahweh now begin to respond. Yahweh begin to answer Habakkuk the second time. And Yahweh reminded him, what you are seeing is vision. And it's going to come to pass. Even the vision at that time, during his time, it did come to pass. But this, Yahweh was speaking far. He was looking at the future. He was looking at Israelites all over the world who will be in the belly of Babylon, in the belly of Assyrians, in the belly of Egypt, in the belly. Look at that image in Daniel chapter 2. The whole of those from the head to the tail is the belly of the world. That is the Gentile world. From Babylon to Roman Empire. Israel will be there. And Israel will be swallowed up by them all. But Yahweh said, I will come. I will come to rescue them. I will pay them their price. The price of the Gentiles will be disaster. In order to release Israel, Yahweh will do great work. But here, pay attention, Yahweh will recall that Israel at that time were doing what even those Babylonians were doing. Israelites had gone away from him. Israelites was reckless. Israelites was murderers. Israelites was kidnappers. Israelites was bloodshedders. Israelites were stealing. They were converting. They were lying. They were doing all manner of things. Justice had gone, and everything had. The law has been downplayed and been destroyed. So there we go through that. I know you have pleaded. I know you have seen what is going on, and you want me to tamper justice with mercy. Yes, I will do, but let them have that experience. Let them go through the trouble. Trouble will correct them. That is the burden. Now, from verse 2, Yahweh went. I'm just going to read it for you. Now, put everything together yourself. Then Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets. Why must it be written? Anything that is written, Yahweh is saying that it's not just going to happen at that time. It's going to be a historical something that will transform from that time to the end of time. Record it so that it will be documented, so that every generation will hear it, read it, understand what is going on. If they like, they turn to him. If they don't like, they go, but they will pay the price. And make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. If you are reading or hearing all this, run. What is the run? Follow Yahweh. Carry his Torah. Do the instruction. Follow his instructions so that you'll be saved. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Yes, Yahweh has appointed a time and date in this earth when he will judge the wicked, when he will judge Israel, when he will judge the whole world, and he will bring the remnant, those who are hearing, those who read what is written, and turn to Yahweh, repent. Those who make all efforts to recognize the word of Yahweh and do what he says, they will be saved. And he will take them for himself. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak. It will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. People are saying, when will the trouble come? Yeshua spoke about the trial that will be before the entire world, the whole earth, in Revelation chapter 3, 8 to 10. And he did point something out, which Yahweh is still saying, which we read today in Deuteronomy chapter 6, which we read in Jeremiah chapter 17, which which we read as the covenant commandment in Exodus chapter 20, which also is written in Deuteronomy chapter 5, which is the 10 commandments. Yahweh pointed out clearly that two things we need to hold: his name and his Torah, his law. If we fail, that is the end of somebody's salvation. That is the end of somebody's deliverance. That is the end of restoration back to the land. That is the cause of the quarrel. That is the reason of this vision. This vision about following Yahweh, about holding to Yahweh's instructions. If we are not keeping it, don't worry, the vision will come. It may be delayed, it may tarry, but someday, at the appointed time, the world will taste the wrath of Yahweh. The world will see that there is one that created heaven and earth, that is in control, in charge of everything he created. He's not asleep. He didn't go, on holidays. Verse 4. Behold, the proud, his soul is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. The wicked is a proud person. A proud person is a wicked person. At the end of the day, he will end up destroying himself. But those that trust in Yahweh, those that have confidence in Yahweh, those that hold to Yahweh's Torah, Yahweh's instruction, Yahweh's commandment, they shall live following him. That is having faith in him. Indeed, because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man. Anybody, any sinner, whatever that causes man to marry, to have merriment, to have joy and thinking, rejoicing in sin is the way. At the end of the day, the person is going to face the trouble, the wrath of Yahweh. And he does not stay at home, because he enlarges his desire as hell, and he is like death and cannot be satisfied. He gathered to himself all nations and heaps up for himself all peoples. This also includes Babylon. So Yahweh saw Israel at that time behaving like Babylon. So what is the difference between Israel and Babylon? So Babylon at that time was kingmaker in wickedness, in violence, in lawlessness. But then why would Israel follow them? Because they have taken after their Baal, after their El, after whatever those people worship, and they were corrupt. They were wicked. Any corrupt person is a wicked. Yahweh sees a corrupt person, somebody who violates his Torah, as a wicked person, as a proud person. 6. Will not all these take up a proverb against him, and a taunting riddle against him, and say, woe to him who increases. What is not his, what is not his, how long? And to him who loads himself with many pledges. Will not your creditors rise up suddenly? Will they not awaken who oppress you? And you will become their booty. This is for Israel. When you remove yourself from Yahweh, then those people you fear will come up against you. They will deal with you. Because you have plundered many nations. This is now looking at Babylon. Plundering nations. All the remnant of the people shall plunder you. So what will happen in the latter days is that even while Israelites have been plundered and live in captivity in the hands of this Babylon, swallowed. Anytime you are talking about Israel and the nations of the world, look at Daniel chapter 2, the image that is depicted there. It speaks about the world we are today. Having been swallowed, Yahweh said, a remnant will be delivered. Who is remnant here? Anybody today that is hearing his Torah, following his instruction, keeping to his name, following after him, having faith in him, that person will be delivered. That person is the Israelite of these latter days that Yahweh is talking about. Yahweh is speaking to Israel, whether you are Israel or Israelite by identity of being born from Abraham, or you are Israelite from the identity of those that are grafted out of the Gentile world. There is no two Israelites. It's only one Israel as a nation, as a people. And they are remnant, whether they are Gentile grafted in or they are Israelite born in the land of Hebrew. They are people of Yahweh. They are Israelites. He's going to draw them back to himself. He is working that out. There is nothing like some that will go to heaven, raptured into heaven, live in heaven, and all that, while others will be suffering on earth. No, first and foremost, Yahshua is coming to cleanse, to deliver his people and teach the entire mankind and try as much as try to deliver human beings. If at the end they still insist, he will wipe the rest of the wicked out and he will sanitize the earth by making sure that new heaven and the new earth are introduced in the world. And that will be, that Israel, the remnant, will continue to live forever, because he said the earth is created, is built, is prepared for the righteous to live in. The righteous Israelites are the owner of the earth, but they themselves are joining hands with the Gentiles to corrupt it. And I say it will not continue that way. I'm going to sanitize everywhere. Because of men's blood, they were shedding blood, and the violence of the land and the city and of all who dwell in it, because of this judgment will be coming. Now verse 9, woe to him who covets evil gain for his house, that he may set his nest on her, that he may be delivered from the power of disaster. You give shameful counsel to your house, cutting off many peoples, and sin against your soul. For the stone will cry out from the wall, and the beam from the timbers will answer it. When the trouble will hit this earth, hey, everywhere will be crushed. The wall, the stones from the wall will cry out. Man will cry out. The earth will cry out. By what Yahweh will be doing. This is the hand of Yahweh. It's going to be heavy in this, particularly this latter age. The judgment is going to be terrific. And all is about Israel. Because Israel is the cause in particular. Yahweh wanted to use a nation, a people, his first fruit, so that with them he can, teach the entire world, reach the entire world. But Israel had rejected it all through and through. Yahweh said, okay, go into the Gentile world. Be like them, eat like them, drink like them, behave like them, have their character, find their children. Everybody will be the same. At the end, he will come to judge them. Those that continue to pay attention to his word, he's going to draw them out. Then he will deal with the rest. That hasn't happened. It's about to happen. And that is the vision of Habakkuk. Woe to him who builds a town with house of bloodshed, who establishes a city by iniquity. Behold, it is not of Yahweh of hosts that the peoples labor to feed the fire, and nations weary themselves in vain. Yahweh is not the architect of this. Israel are the architect of this. Nations are already in it. Therefore, there will be judgment. Verse 14. For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh, as the waters cover the earth. That is what is working out. As the sea, waters or sea cover the waters cover the sea. That is the earth, the entire earth, where human beings are supposed to inhabit. The water there is the spirit of Yahweh. The water there is the righteousness of Yahweh. The water there is what characterizes Yahweh. What is the character of Yahweh? We are talking about Yahweh. Yahweh is encompassing. Yahweh is a name that has to cover us. Yahweh is a name that has to cover the earth, so that the earth will be like heaven. But do they give chance? Did they give? No, they said no. They resist Yahweh 24 hours. Woe to him who gives drink to his neighbor, pressing him to your bottle, even to make him drunk, that you may look on his nakedness. You are filled with shame instead of glory. You also drink and be exposed as uncircumcised. The cup of Yahweh's right hand will be turned against you, and utter shame will be on your glory. When Yahweh stands up, Revelation chapter 14, verses 9, particularly 10, 11, says Yahweh is going to raise fire, brimstone, and so many to destroy those who have rebelled, who worship the beast. For the violence done to Lebanon will cover you, and the plunder of beasts which made them afraid because of men's blood, and the violence of the land and the city and of all who dwell in it. Verse 18. What profit is the image that its maker should carve it? The molded image, a teacher of lies. This is what Babylonians does. The Gentile world does. Israel had taken after that. Israel have gone after wood and stone. This is the whole matter. This is the whole quarrel. Because when they lay hands and their heart in wood and stone, they forget Yahweh. They forget his way. That the maker of its mold should trust in it to make mute idols. Those idols are mute. They don't talk. They don't speak. They have nose. They don't smell. They have mouth. They don't talk. They have nose. They don't smell anything. Ears. They don't hear. Why do you go and bow to them? Look at what he called them. Verse 19. Woe to him who says to wood, awake, to silent stone, arise. It shall teach. Behold, it is overlaid with gold and silver. Yet in it there is no bread at all. That is what Christianity is. Follow. That is what, look at the image in St. Peter Basilica. That image, the image of Jesus. That thing is done in wood. It's done in stone. And they put up a cross. They bow to all these things. This is what Yahweh is saying. Who are the architects? Who are the carriers? Who are the headmaster of it today? Christianity of Israel. Israel of Christianity. Israel has turned to Gentile. Gentile has turned to Israel. And they are bound to wood and stone. They're happy. They correct it so much in such. Have you? I mean, look into their sanctuaries, into their auditoriums, into how wonderfully, how they decorate, how well those is the image, how the image is decorated with gold, with silver, with all that kind of a thing. Verse 20, very important. But Yahweh is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Do you know, people at times undermine Yahweh. It's only one Yahweh. It's only him and him alone. But at times it's like Yahweh folded his hand and he's watching them. And they think he's not there. They said, let us do whatever we like. Yahweh does not see. He is far away. He's not even there. He's not even close. Let's do whatever that we like. Yahweh said, I am there. Even in your midst, even when you think there is silence of Yahweh, Yahweh is not silent. Yahweh is there 24 hours. Then you are doing what you are doing. By the time Habakkuk heard all these replies of Yahweh, Habakkuk broke down, and he had no alternative than to enter into prayer. Habakkuk began to pray. A prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet of Shigonot. He began to pray. Verse 2. I'm reading Habakkuk chapter 3 now. Verse 1, talk about the prayer. Verse 2. Oh Yahweh, I have heard your speech and was afraid. Who will hear the voice of Yahweh even in anger that will stand? Can you stand even the anger of Yahweh? If not that he was seeing vision, can he stand the anger of Yahweh? When Yahweh is speaking in anger. Yahweh was speaking to Israel in gentle as his people. They were afraid. Exodus chapter 19, particularly 20, where he began to speak. He began to give them the commandment, the 10 commandments. They were afraid. They were shaken. They wanted to run. In fact, they ran away. They said, Moses, oh, listen to Yahweh. Hear him and bring report. Bring the message to us. All Yahweh commands, we will obey. Today, where are they obeying? Where is obedience? That was when Yahweh called them one-on-one, interacted with them, teaching them, telling them what they should do. But fear never allowed them. They were melting before the presence of Yahweh. Let alone when Yahweh would begin to speak to a man in wrath, in anger, in Because man has violated his word. Will the person remain? Will the person live? That's why he die. By the time Yahweh ends his speech, the person will melt. Oh, Yahweh, I have heard your speech and was afraid. Oh, Yahweh, revive your works in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years. As this is a vision from when it starts to the end, please do not destroy. Keep your people safe. Keep your people alive. Here he will be praying for himself, he will be praying for Israel, and he will be praying for all those who will join Israel at the end. I urge you, brethren, to read it through. Time will not permit us to hear Isaiah speak in the same manner. To hear Jeremiah chapter 2, 12, write it somewhere, 1 to end. Jeremiah chapter 12, 1 to end of that chapter 12. Read it. It is the same thing that Habakkuk saw, that Jeremiah saw. Isaiah 29, from 14, read it to the end. The same thing that Habakkuk he saw, he argued. In fact, at the time, these two prophets, they say Yahweh was folding his hand. Yahweh was quiet. Yahweh did not understand or see what was going in the land. Yahweh is far removed from Israel. Yahweh, where are you? Israel is in violence. Israel is in trouble. Because many had risen against others. Many had violated the word of Yahweh. Many had put down the law of Yahweh. And everywhere was violence. Everywhere was bloodshed. Stealing was going on. Justice or injustice was rampant. People had their way in whatever form. No one had a regard to Yahweh. No one had a regard to the instruction, the Torah, the commandments of Yahweh. As a result, the nation of Israel fell like a pack of cards. All the prophets, is it Amos? Is it Hosea? Is it Jeremiah? Is it Nahum? Is it even the Habakkuk we are talking about? All of them. This is the heart of the message. The vision. What is the vision? The name of Yahweh has been destroyed. Taken away, taken off their heart, off themselves, off the land, off the nation. They put away Yahweh. And they put away his instruction, his Torah. That is the vision. And as a result, Yahweh says, I am sending them the young lions. I'm sending them Egyptians. I'm sending them Assyrians in these latter days. I'm sending them Babylonians and all these nations where they are now living. We smash them. We destroy them. But Yahweh will watch and he will be careful so that the entire Israelites will not be wiped out. Remember, it's part of the request of Habakkuk. Would you wipe out Israel? Would you destroy Israel? Yahweh said no. Even the Babylons, they are no better. They are wicked of wicked. Wickedness is in them. Their name, the next name or the second name is wickedness. Therefore, I'm going to deal with them because they have turned to the dragnets, the wood and stone, which they bow to. They have said that is what even give them the power to conquer. That is what give them authority to subdue nations and take them into exile. And they will say they are the most powerful, and they will reckon themselves as Yahweh, Elohim of the whole universe. And that was the reason Yahweh warned Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, if you do not retract from your witness, if you do not retract from where you find yourself, you are going to be destroyed. I'm going to deal with you. And Nebuchadnezzar, who is Yahweh that is speaking? Just like Pharaoh, telling Yahweh, who are you? Who is Pharaoh? Who is Yahweh that I'm going to let Israel go? After that message was delivered by Daniel to Nebuchadnezzar, and then Nebuchadnezzar continued to do his bit. Yahweh gave him few days, few weeks, few months. Yahweh said, okay, go into the bush, begin to live like animals for 7 years. You will live, and by the time you wake up, you find out, you will tell yourself who is the creator, who is Yahweh, who is the owner of life, who controls heaven and earth. And after 7 years, he looked up from where he was crying, meh, and the same with animals. Yahweh said, okay, you are done. He opened his eyes to see. He looked up and he saw, Yahweh is only power. Yahweh is unbeatable. He is the creator of heaven and earth. As Pharaoh praised Yahweh, the same way Nebuchadnezzar praised Yahweh. And that tells us there is no other power. Yahweh is the only power. Because these Gentile people called Babylon is all about wickedness. Babylon at the beginning, and Babylon will be there at the end. And it's this Babylon that Yahweh is revealing to us that is going to deal with the recalcitrant Israelites, disobedient Israelites, wicked Israelites, Israelites that have no faith in him. He is going to send them after those Israelites, wherever they are, all over the world, and they are going to annihilate them, going to destroy them. But the remnant, he will go after them. Make sure he take them and return them back to the land, restore them, and give them that land. He didn't say heaven. Yahweh never teach restoring Israel in heaven. It's in this earth. This is the message of Habakkuk. Chapter 3 is very, very important. You understand it. That prayer. Because Yahweh promised, that's where Yahweh now promised to deal with Babylon, to deal with nations that will stand against Israel. I read from verse 8. Oh Yahweh, were you displeased with the rivers? Was your anger against the rivers? Was your wrath against the sea, that you rode on your horses, your chariots of salvation, your bow was made quite ready. Oaths were sworn over your arrows. You divided the earth with rivers. The mountains saw you and trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered its voice and lifted its hands on high. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of your arrows they went. At the shining of your glittering spear, you marched through the hand in indignation. You trampled the nations in anger. You went forth for the salvation of your people. Here is where the remnant are going to be delivered. Yahweh will go after them and deliver them. For salvation with your anointed, you struck the head from the house of the wicked. By laying bare from foundation to neck, you thrust through with his own arrows the head of his villages. They came out like a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was like feasting on the poor in secret. You walked through the sea with your horses, through the heap of great waters. Brethren, what I caught up in this latter part of the discourse is that the same Israel, Yahweh is going to use them to fight the Gentile world, to fight the wicked that will stand when they will return back to the land, as he led them through the wilderness when they were coming back from Egypt. The same way he's going to lead. In fact, Isaiah made it open to us. Isaiah chapter 11, from 16 to end. You will read there how Yahweh said, as he played it out when they were in Egypt, as he led them through the wilderness, the same way is going to happen again. That is the promise. Huge promise. Verse 16. Habakkuk 3:16. When I heard, my body trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he comes up to the people, he will invade them with his troops. Yahweh will invade nations who invaded Israel, who destroyed Israel. Yahweh will invade them. Though the fig tree may not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, though the labor of the olive may fail, and the fields yield no food, though the flock may be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stores, yet I will rejoice in Yahweh. I will joy in Yahweh, in Yah of my salvation. Yahweh, Father, is my strength. He will make my feet like their feet, and he will make me walk on my high hills. Yahweh says, remnant, children of Israel, do not fear, do not be afraid. No matter what you are going through, no matter the trouble, no matter the affliction, no matter what the enemy will throw at you, no matter the burden they will make you carry, at the end of the day, I will come, I will step in, I will fight for you, and I will give you peace. I will restore you. I will put you back into that land. Even when there is no food. Because when this thing will be happening, there will be no food all over the world. Food will be scanty as it were. That's why he said, even 10 women, we see one man say, come and be our husband. Let us just answer your name, your father's name. It's going to be terrible because men will be scarce. Men will be scarce. Yahweh will deal with the entire world. Vegetation, food, water. Water will be turned to something else. They will be undrinkable. Men will die of hunger. Men will die of diseases. Men will die of violence. He said, you love violence, you love wickedness, you love killing, you love bloodshed. This is it. Enjoy it. Eat it. Drink it. Play on with it. And he will use the Babylonians, the same Babylonians, to tread on the wicked, to crush them. And the remnant, he will make sure he continue to keep them. Continue to keep them. But you will put on Yahweh in you. Because the whole message of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation is Yahweh and his instructions. Hold to Yahweh and his instructions. When we talk about Yahweh, we are talking about Yeshua, our Messiah, who will be stepping in. Conclusively, we are looking at the book of Matthew. Because if Yahweh will stay beyond the appointed time to rescue Israel, then they will be wiped out. Then all the cry of the prophets, all the works of Yeshua will be in vain. Because the target is to eliminate the entire Israel in these latter days. The target is, brethren, once you have laid hands in a plow, do not look back because you are the target. I don't know whether we are hearing what the Spirit is telling us. We are the target. They don't want to spare us. Satan don't want us to leave. He will use all his machinery of Babylon, Assyria, Egypt, Greece, Roman Empire. He will use them. He will unleash them in these latter days against the people of Yahweh. But Yeshua made a statement. He said in verse 20, and pray, I'm reading Matthew 24, verse 20, and pray that your flight may not be in winter or in the Sabbath day. For then there will be great tribulation, such as not have been since the beginning of the world until this time. No, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. Did you hear that? We shall be weary, particularly verse 24, because that is what is going on even now. For false messiahs and false prophets will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. Be careful of what you are listening to. Be careful of what you are reading. Be careful of where you are finding yourself. Even where you are committing, where you are meeting, where you are fellowshipping. Be careful. Check the spirit. Monitor the spirit. Examine the spirit. Or else. Any little, because Yahweh will not want 10. All those that are carrying 10 will go. Israelites, so it's not talking about the entire world. Israelites. Because Yahweh has calculated from the time, particularly, let us say from the time of Abraham till today, Yahweh has been teaching Torah. Yahweh has been teaching his people his way. How many years till now? So there will be no excuse. Anybody who is not ready for Yahweh, he will clear him. That's why we are crying and asking people, what are you doing? Why are you destroying the... Look at those 10 commandments. Do them, keep them. That is the message. The message is on Torah, the word of Yahweh. The message is to follow, have faith in Yahweh. Through Yeshua Messiah, our faith today is in Yeshua Messiah because he is the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come to the Father. No man can even enter the kingdom without him. What are you doing about it? You are chasing. You hear where Yahweh was talking about gold, their silver, what they are pursuing. In this letter, there is going to be worse. And that is the reason he's going to cut them off without looking back. And they will cry to him, oh, we preach in your name. We did signs, we did wonders, we did miracles, and all that, and all that, and that. Oh, on the Sabbath day we worship you. Yahweh will say, you didn't do what I asked you to do. May Abba Father deliver us. May Abba Father have mercy upon us. May Abba Father wake us up. May he look at us and our weaknesses and speak in our heart, speak in our mind. Where the word of man stop, let the word of the Spirit, let the Spirit of Yahweh continue to quicken us and continue to guide us and teach us and continue to direct us to his truth so that we will not fall apart. And when the trouble will ensue all over the world, may we be delivered. May we be restored unto him. And may we make it into the kingdom, which is the heart of Yeshua. Thank you, Father, for hearing us. Blessed be your holy name. In Yeshua's name we have prayed. Amen. Hallelujah.